Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Big news is breaking out of Dallas, and it has everything to do with the Cowboys' salary cap situation and what it means for the team's potential next moves now that we're officially in the post-June 1 SD period. There's a lot to unpack here, especially with the recent adjustments to the Cowboys' financial flexibility and how that could translate into some big-name free agent targets, one of which includes veteran cornerback Asante Samuel Jr., whose name is increasingly buzzing among Cowboys insiders and fans alike. So sit back, buckle in, and let's dive into what could be a turning point in the Dallas Cowboys offseason as they gear up for training camp with new options, new money, and possibly new faces joining the locker room. So, what changed after June 1 SD? For those unfamiliar with the NFL's salary cap mechanics, June 1 SD is a major milestone for every front office. Teams that designate players as post-June 1 SD cuts can spread out the dead cap hit over 2 seasons instead of absorbing the full brunt in the current year. For the Cowboys, this rule opened the door to additional breathing room on the financial side. As of today, the Cowboys have just over $11 million in additional cap space freed up following a few strategic moves earlier in the offseason, most notably the release of wide receiver Michael Gallup and linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, both of whom were designated as post-June 1 SD cuts. That extra room could now give the Cowboys the flexibility they need to sign impact veterans or patch key roster holes before the real grind of training camp begins. And this isn't just about filling the bottom of the depth chart. This is about real, game-changing potential. The Cowboys have quietly kept their powder dry through much of free agency, making smaller moves like the additions of Royce Freeman and Eric Kendricks. But now, with cap space finally available, they are in a position to strike. This is classic Jerry Jones. Sit back, let the market cool, and when other teams think the offseason is winding down, make your move. It's a calculated strategy, and this time, it could point directly to one of the most intriguing names left on the market, Asante Samuel Jr. Now let's talk about Samuel. The 24-year-old cornerback, formerly with the Los Angeles Chargers, was surprisingly let go despite being a young, ascending talent. His playmaking ability, high football IQ, and aggressive ball skills make him a tempting option for any team looking to shore up the secondary. While the Cowboys already boast a solid group with Trayvon Diggs returning from injury, Darren Bland coming off a breakout year, and Jordan Lewis providing veteran presence, there's still a sense around the league that the Cowboys might not be fully satisfied with their current depth at corner. Diggs is coming back from an ACL tear, Bland is still young and was asked to do a lot last season, and Lewis, while reliable, is more effective in limited snaps than as a full-time contributor. Bringing in someone like Samuel would not only provide security but also elevate the unit into one of the most dangerous secondaries in the league. And when you look at what Dan Quinn built before leaving and what new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer is trying to build now, adding a versatile, scheme-flexible corner like Samuel makes a ton of sense. Samuel can play man or zone, lines up on the outside or in the slot, and has shown a knack for tracking the ball and generating turnovers. Remember, this is the same player who picked off Trevor Lawrence twice in one playoff game. He brings energy, swagger, and experience to a team looking to go from contender to champion. But Samuel isn't the only potential target. With the newly available cap space, Dallas could look to add at multiple positions, including linebacker, offensive line depth, and potentially even another wide receiver. Let's start with linebacker. The Cowboys have a rising star in DeMarvion Overshown and hope for another strong season from Damone Clark, but the health and longevity of veteran Eric Kendricks are concerns. Adding another young, athletic linebacker would allow Zimmer to rotate his front seven and stay fresh through the season. Don't sleep on a name like Kyle Van Noy, who remains unsigned and has the kind of hybrid versatility that would fit perfectly in Dallas's defense. On the offensive side, the Cowboys are dangerously thin on the offensive line, particularly at left tackle and center. With Tyron Smith now in New York and Tyler Biadasz off to Washington, the Cowboys are putting a lot of pressure on younger players like Tyler Smith and Brock Hoffman to step up. It's a risky bet. They could look to free agency to bring in a reliable swing tackle or an interior lineman who can start in a pinch. Dalton Risner, formerly with the Vikings, remains available and could be a stabilizing force on the interior. Now, back to Asante Samuel Jr. because the buzz surrounding his fit in Dallas has grown considerably in the last 48 hours. According to multiple reports, the Cowboys front office has shown internal interest in Samuel, especially with other veteran cornerbacks like Stephon Gilmore and Xavier Rhodes no longer on the roster. There is a clear opportunity here for Dallas to pounce. Samuel would cost a fraction of what a top-tier free agent might demand, possibly a one-year deal in the $4.6 million range, and give the Cowboys flexibility heading into training camp. If Diggs isn't fully back yet, or if any injury hits in the preseason, Samuel could step in without the defense missing a beat. There's also something to be said about the locker room dynamic. Samuel is a high-character player who comes from a football family. His father, Asante Samuel Sr., was one of the best ball-hawking corners in the league for years. That pedigree, combined with the younger Samuel's chip on his shoulder mentality after being let go by the Chargers, could make him a motivated force in Dallas. If you remember, Bland, Diggs, and Lewis all responded well to internal competition last season, and the idea of throwing Samuel into that mix could bring out the best in everyone. Let's not forget about the looming extensions Dallas needs to take care of. The elephant in the room is Dak Prescott. The quarterback is entering a critical year of his contract, and whether the Cowboys choose to extend him or let him play it out, his deal has a major impact on the cap. Right now, Dak carries a cap hit north of $55 million. Restructuring or extending him could free up even more space this summer. Then there's CeeDee Lamb, who is due for a massive contract extension himself. The Cowboys picked up his fifth-year option, but if they don't extend him before the season starts, his price tag could skyrocket even higher. So the Cowboys find themselves in a strategic sweet spot. They've got post-June 1 SD money, a clear sense of need at certain positions, and a few targeted free agents still floating in the market. But they also have to think long-term. Signing someone like Asante Samuel Jr. gives you immediate defensive help without compromising your ability to extend core players like Dak, Lamb, and eventually Micah Parsons. That kind of financial and roster flexibility is invaluable as the Cowboys aim to remain contenders in a loaded NFC. The next few weeks will be crucial. Training camp is just around the corner, and every roster decision from here on out carries more weight. Do the Cowboys make a splash move now and get Samuel in the building to acclimate to Zimmer's scheme early? Or do they wait to see how injuries and performance shake out in the early days of camp before making any major additions? Historically, the Cowboys have leaned conservative, but the urgency of this window might force them to take a different path. Cowboys fans should also keep their eye on the trade market. With teams finalizing their 90-man rosters for camp, there could be opportunities for the Cowboys to trade a late-round pick for a proven veteran, particularly at offensive line or cornerback. Don't be surprised if Dallas tries to replicate the kind of move they made in the past with players like Jonathan Hankins' low-risk, high-reward deals that fill glaring needs without breaking the bank. The final point here is this: Dallas cannot afford to stand still. With the 49ers, Eagles, and Lions all loading up in the NFC, the Cowboys need every competitive edge they can find. The time for waiting has passed. The post-June 1 SD money is here, the roster needs are clear, and the free agent market still has quality options available. Adding someone like Asante Samuel Jr. now, ahead of training camp, could be the kind of under-the-radar move that pays massive dividends when the games actually start to count. Cowboys Nation, it's an exciting time. The offseason always feels long, but these late-breaking developments have the potential to reshape the team's outlook heading into 2025. As always, we'll keep you updated with every twist, every rumor, and every signing right here on the channel. If Dallas pulls the trigger on Samuel, or any other name, we'll break it down instantly. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you want to see Asante Samuel Jr. in a Cowboys uniform? Or do you think the team should target another position first? Either way, big decisions are coming, and the Cowboys are suddenly sitting on the kind of cap space that can make those decisions count. Let's see what they do with it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe for more Cowboys news, rumors, and breakdowns, and we'll catch you in the next update. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys!